So, good evening, everyone. On behalf of Tushita, let me welcome all of you, and particularly our guest today, Venerable Tenzin Lamdron, who is here for the first time.
Thank you.
And you will be surprised to know that she has just arrived from Brazil and she's ready to teach, not jet lagged at all. So, today, Venerable is going to share with us about studying the Geshe curriculum as a Westerner. So we look forward to your talk and your experience, and I'm sure it'll be very inspiring for all of us, even though we are not students of this course. So just a brief introduction to Venerable. Venerable Tenzin Lamdron is originally from Brazil and used to be a chemical engineer and human resource professional. In 2013, she left her metropolitan routine in Sao Paulo, Brazil, to delve into inner development. Since then, she has lived in Dharamsala alongside the exiled Tibetan community. She initially studied Buddhist philosophy at the Library of Tibetan Works and Archives, as well as with great Geshes. Then, as a lay student, in 2016, she started the 17 years Buddhist Philosophy Course, the Geshe curriculum, at Geden Choeling Nunnery in Mcleod Ganj, India. Venerable received ordination from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and since 2020, her routine at the nunnery is to study, debate, and contemplate the Buddha's scriptures and root texts from Tibetan and Indian scholars on consciousness, logic, and epistemology, altruistic attitude, interdependence, among others, as well as to follow all monastic activities such as ritual prayers, structural works, memorization, etc., under the guidance of her teachers and her personal tutor. Her experience studying Buddhist philosophy among the Tibetan monastic community, as well as a close relationship with spiritual friends, have impacted her way of understanding and applying Buddhist values in her daily routine. May I now request you to give your talk?
Okay,
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation. And well, let's be very precise. And so the invitation was to talk about as a Western, right? As a Western, and how is the experience and how is all the process in the studies, and also from the beginning how this happened, right? Like where this came from and so forth. And so, well, as already it was said, and so in 2013, the first time that I came to India, I just gave up corporate life. And so I was even though I am engineer and chemical engineer, but I was human resource manager in a corporation, right, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Hello. And but then, you know, like working in a corporate and also doing some therapies work, volunteer work, and so forth. Everything was, you know, like everything was so well settled, so well structured as a normal middle society, social class Brazilian society, and everything was really very set up. But it's still like things were not, you know, like in the proper way here. And I say it's not just that I had everything. Something was always like missing, not in the sense of things, of structural financial things, but like things were not exactly as I intellectually I could understand. And so that thing that we in theory we understand things, but in practice we live in a completely different way. And so this gap of theory and practice, living something but actually experiencing, understanding something but experiencing things completely different. So that difference really bothered me. And then I could understand, and people said, "Oh, that's normal. This is just human life." And I said, "That's not just human life. This is a result of something, of a gap, of a lack of some understanding. So if I don't understand properly what is the gap of what I understand and what I really put into practice, I would not be able to really help, like to work as a good therapist or really help others. If I wish to help, how can I help without understanding in my own life?"
This is called cognitive dissonance.
Okay.
It's a technical term.
Okay, good. Once I heard, do you know the calling of Buddhahood, something like that? Mcleod Ganj once in a talk, he said like that. So and I really feel like that no, I couldn't believe, I couldn't accept that I, in theory, I understood and everything fine, but in my really daily life, all that very bossy boss, very aggressive, and like a workaholic, aggressive person in daily routine, in personal life, in professional life, that thing were not matching. And you cannot be one completely different thing what you really believe. But I believe in something, but I am another thing. These two things are not matching, and that's not normal. So in order to really look for this understanding of this gap, I came to the Himalayas to study a little bit of the consciousness. I didn't expect Buddhism. And then after 3 months here, I met Buddhist classes, and I really, through the Buddhist philosophy, I really, this can be very interesting. Like how can I understand where is the gap of cognitive understanding of life projection, how I perceived life, and how I really experienced life. And so then I started studying this, and I thought it was so amazingly important and beneficial if I could understand things properly. I usually look at the Geshes, at the Tibetan Geshes, at His Holiness when he spoke, and I say, wow, all of this Tibetan community, how much suffering they are living, and look at how they are experiencing and living and surviving and so forth. And I am with everything good, and I still have a huge unsatisfaction and a huge complaining about any stupid things. Then I say, no, this is not proper. That's not correct. So definitely, if I really can study this, I think that's going to be beneficial. And then then my insatisfaction went to the right direction, in the sense of it's not just being introduced to these texts or this understanding. I really have to dip myself in this understanding. And then I looked for a more structural course. And then I saw, and then everyone was saying, no, but the more structural courses are inside the monasteries, like for 17 years or 20 years, 25, 23 years. That is the course of Buddhist philosophy. And this is only in Tibetan, only in the monasteries and so forth. And then, of course, I knew that there were some courses, after a few years, I knew that there were some courses exactly the same for Westerners in English and in Italian, etc. But before I didn't know that. But it's still like, I knew that there was this opportunity, but in Tibetan. Then I said, of course you cannot do it. No, of course, like you don't have this, you don't have the time, 17 years. Who is the foreigner that has this time? It's true, isn't it? and then the patience and so forth. And then I said, okay, but yeah, let's start, because my English always very poor. And then I said, okay, let's start with at least Tibetan. And then I started with Tibetan language. And well, since I already know how to say good morning in Tibetan, so let's see if I manage to start this, at least, the the 1 to first year, that is because we have before the engage in the proper curriculum in the of Buddhist philosophy, which the end is the Geshe degree, and so we have four introductory courses. That is the cognitive, the collect topics, and then logic, the introduction of consciousness, and then the tarik, that is the introduction of science and reasonings, and all the tenets and so forth. I said, okay, let's start at least with this. It's fair enough. It's okay. Then I started. Then I enter in the monastery. In Geden Choeling Nunnery, or Geden Choeling Gompa in Dharamsala in 2016. Then I say, oh, at least for 1-2 years. Then I stay here. And I was still lay person. And then as a lay person, I was studying there, everything in Tibetan, debate in Tibetan. And then I didn't understand anything because it was the very, very, very first time that I was listening to these classes, but I was, frustration every day. Like I felt that, like I couldn't even answer these classes, but I was looking and I was, wow, I am in the middle of the proper education institution, with all the Geshes, the Tibetan Geshes, and all the Tibetan nuns. And in the back, all of us foreigners, lay foreigners, and I said, wow, this is a precious opportunity. When I have again this opportunity to be here, like I was accepted to be, at least to study together. And I didn't understand anything. Everyone was so quickly in the answers and so forth. And then I cried so much because I couldn't understand, couldn't cope with the speed of the classes. Then I said, no, but this is a precious opportunity. I can't give up just because I don't understand so well. I go with this. And then my classmates of all little young Anelas, like 15, 16 years and maximum 20 years and so forth. And they could reply much quicker than me. And then all of us foreigners. And then sometimes we ask each other, what the teacher just asked? I don't know, maybe Tashtili. We couldn't understand so well because it was too fast, even though I could speak a little bit Tibetan, but it was too fast. But anyway, so the first thing is I didn't give up this. And so 3 months, and then after 6 months, and then 1 year finished in the monastery. Of course, at the same time, because of my lack of understanding, I decided to also do a parallel course with English translation, at least to see what's going on there. And then it was also great teacher, great students and so forth. But after 2 years, I think I needed to really focus just in that course of Geshe program. And then in the second and the third year, I went just to the nunnery, and I say, I'm gonna overcome all the difficulties here, just in this nunnery. And then I decided just to focus in the nunnery. And then it was my third year, then started my third year in this course at the nunnery, always in Dharamsala, in Geden Choeling Nunnery. And of course, because of the difficulty of understanding everything, understanding the Tibetan language, the speed of studies and debate and so forth in the first 2-3 years, so much frustration came in the sense of, I can't do this. This is not for me. Why I'm here? Come on, I can do 1 year course easier in the other part and so forth. And all the time that I thought about this, then I said, yes, but then if I do other shorter courses, and then actually, why I'm here? All the time I recollect this. Why I'm here? Why I'm in India, in Dharamsala, studying this? Why I'm not in Brazil doing exactly all the things that I had confidence in what I was doing, because I knew that whatever I was doing before didn't bring me that really satisfaction, and not satisfaction, the satisfaction of peaceful mind and really contentment. I was just struggling to objective, mundane things. What I really wanted was to transform here. And the transformation here really takes time. And first thing, patience. And so if I am not patient here, so I'm blocking here, I'm blocking my own transformation. And in order to start this process of transformation, I needed to go through this. It was so hard here. And then I said, no, I'll be patient. I'm gonna give myself this chance. And so I overcame the first year, went to the second year, and then the third year. In the third year, I could understand better much things. Third year. So for the first 2 years, it was really like tough. And but I never even thought about like giving up, because I knew what I needed to reach. And then the third year I started doing the exams, and then I took exams of debate, of Tibetan language, and then the exams together with all the nuns. And then slowly I was a lay person living outside the nunnery, and then slowly why not nun? Why I not be a nun, right? And we don't need to become monk or nun in order to do this course, right? But of course, like I had the issues, why not become nun and so forth. And then I say, I just have, in that moment I was almost 40 years. And then I say, I am here already 40 years in this life. Maybe I have just 40 years more, 30 years, 20, 60, I don't know. We don't know. I know that I have this experience of being lay person and doing very well lay part of life. And then, but I don't have this experience of devoting myself to a proper path, to a self-transformation in order to be a reliable person to others. So I give myself this chance just for these few years that I still have of life. So I went through the monastic. I decided to take the ordination, and then with the ordination, so I was allowed to live in the nunnery, at the nunnery in Geden Choeling, in the same nunnery. And so I was already in the beginning of the 5th year, and then I was accepted as the nun of this Tibetan nunnery. And it was very nice, because in that moment, so lockdown came. And so I was locked down inside the nunnery. And so it was amazing. So my teacher, my personal teacher, he said, yes, if you become nun, you have to stay in the nunnery. Otherwise, like always living outside, there's more challenges than if you stay inside the nunnery. And then 100% sure, 100% true. And then I entered in the nunnery, and to live with the Tibetan community is amazing. To live together with all these people that came from Tibet, that they are still living with all of these very difficult situation, oppression, torture, losing their country, losing their family, not being able to meet again and again. We have other problems, right? Like sometimes we have problem of to be together with our family. They have the problem of not being able, even if they want to be with their family and so forth. And they recollect all the time these stories, and then they tell us, they talk among themselves, how was their life before, and how was simple the life, and how they played in a more natural and simple way, and all the simple way of understanding things, cognizing things, projecting the life and so forth is so rich. And at the same time, like I am in the middle of the Tibetan community. I'm foreigner with all the Brazilian style in the Tibetan community. And so there's also some challenges, definitely. But what I thought is, as long as I am holding to heart my own point of view, my own culture, my, then all problems came. And we are nuns, we are not saints. We are nuns, we are not Buddhas. And so we are a bunch of monastic people with all the difficulties, and also trying to do our best, but in a very much more smooth way. And so all the time that I was, no, why I should drink all this tea, butter tea all the time and so forth. No, it's okay. I can drink also sometimes coffee and sometimes butter tea. And then, or you don't speak so well, I don't understand you, and so forth. Yes, welcome. I'm also foreign. I'm a foreigner. I know all the things. Whatever I knew, no value. You know everything that I knew, not at all of use. Okay, I have to leave everything aside and then restart, even like in the 5th year, and already communicating myself. But it was very different. And so I needed to restart myself from 0 in the 5th year. And then, are you the only foreigner in the nun? No, we are 3. And so we are Mexican nun. We have one from Vietnam and one from Brazil. But among these 3, I'm the elder now. Okay, before there was another from Taiwan and from Mongolia, but they left the nunnery. And so anyway, and so all of these different approaches and so forth. But then I all the time with these different the challenges in the culture, I thought, but I am in their society, so it's fine. They are not in the foreigner society. I am in a foreign society for me, so it's okay. So all the time that I relax my own very strong point of view, everything went very, very smooth, right? And then slowly I could catch up with their style. And then slowly, because I know how is their style and so forth, I also could pause it myself. So nowadays I drink my coffee very well, and some of them they like and so forth, and I can express my opinion also, and then can understand. And even if they don't understand, it's pretty much fine. Like, I imagine myself, if I am not able to live my reality the whole life, it's going to be very tough also. And so I could really increase my understanding of this kind of difficulties, which in the beginning is always my difficulty, they have to respect myself and so forth. And I just forget their difficulties. And so this changing of understanding also, it was very, very important. And of course, like as a Tibetan nun, foreigner nun, and so we do all the works together. So I share room with a Tibetan, a Himalayan person. Now is my little sister. She's from the region of, I think it's not Sikkim, but it's nearby Sikkim, in the border between Tibet, India, and Bhutan. And she's my roommate. And we always, all of us foreigners, we have to share rooms. Then we have to go all the works at the nunnery. Then we have to go to the kitchen, and in the nighttime we have to wake up at 1 a.m. in order to do the bread for the following morning, and then for 3 nights. 1 to 4, 1 to 3:30. If the nuns are more senior, so you do quicker the brides. Otherwise, you finish at 4. But it's okay. But then we don't need to do the morning prayers. You just go to the class morning time, and then so you do all the tasks, like clean the toilets, and then sometimes your class is sent to change the pipe of the toilet, for example, and then they take you from the class, and then all the class go to do the task of the nunnery and so forth. And so it's exactly the same. All the tasks that we do, or that the Tibetan nuns do, we also do. We are exactly the same. We are not exactly the same, but we follow exactly the same agenda. And to study the classes, the Buddhist philosophy inside the nunnery, there are 2 huge differences than studying being outside. First of all, if you are inside, like really being part of the nunnery, of the monastery, you go through all the activities. You are living with the Tibetans. You are thinking in Tibetan. You do everything just in Tibetan. And so you also you share the culture. You share the different mindset, which is much, much more into the communitary sense, to the communitary direction, that the Indians also, they are much, much advanced than us foreigners, I can tell you, 100%. And so they understand much more, like the others' difficulties and so forth. And so this is one of the best things that I really experienced myself. And also to live in monastic community, like how to deal with difficulties. All of us, as I said, we are not Buddhas yet, we are not saints yet, so we have some bodhisattvas in the middle, I'm sure, but we maybe some Buddhas, but we still have anger, jealousy. Why the teacher is answering to her question more than to my question? No. and you know, these silly things, and it's very strong. And sometimes we stay the whole day very angry the whole time and so forth, and then actually it's here, it's not outside, right? But how to cope with the difficulty times. And so sometimes we argue or we fight, and so not like this, but we fight. And then in the following day, give me that pen, please. Yeah, your pen. Give me another pen, please. Okay. And then the third minute, it's already done. And we don't agree and we don't argue anymore. Why you did this to me yesterday? Why don't you know, like you just carry on. You carry on the difficulties, like in a more smooth way. Like, and everyone around, even if I am your friend, we try to, you know, calm down, not to put more, you know, more wood in your fire, even though if you're my friend, even though I also don't agree with her and so forth, like we just don't fire the cause of that fight or that discussion, because it's useless. And so these are some of the benefit of being inside the monastic environment. And studying this text, studying the philosophy texts in Tibetan language, I can tell you is 100% also different, because the way that you can have the meaning is different than just having meaning in English. This I can tell you has a huge difference. It's true. Every single word has many differences of understanding, of approaching, of cognizing. And then if you not do only teachings in Tibetan, but also you debate on this. The debate is not just that clapping the hands and screaming, and so this is not debate. The debate is really like how to posit the ideas, how to check the ideas, if it's really correct or not the reason. So why I like to be here in Delhi? Because I meet my friends. But all the time that I meet my friends, I like to be in Delhi. No, maybe they are not here and I still like Delhi. So this is not a proper reason. So, you know, like you all the time, you compare the reasons in a proper way. And then when you debate also sometimes, of course, you become very, you know, like emotional, like angry and so forth. And if you just follow your anger in that moment, like you lose your mind, you lose your reasoning and your point. And what you're trying to do is transform here. What you're trying to do is to give up all of these fantasies and the ruminating thoughts, all the dramas and all the fabricated thoughts, in order to really develop your mind, to become weak, to turn weak your bad points, and to increase your good ideas and good thoughts. And so if you all the time are following, you know, like the arrogance, the jealousy, the self-pity minds and so forth, you never advance, right? You never improve. And so the debate is amazing, is an amazing skill. And so debating in Tibetan language with Tibetan teachers in this community has all of these amazing experiences. And as a foreigner, like if you all the time recollect that I am foreign, I don't deserve this, I know that, I am 45 years, I'm in engineer, blah, 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 then actually you don't open space to new things. After, when you already have these new things already settled down, then you can join together with whatever you knew before, and then you can even like benefit others by understanding their reality, because it was the same as yours, with this new knowledge that you open yourself to receive, right? And not just a cultural thing, but also then you can really focus in the proper knowledge of the texts. This is another benefit of learning from Tibetan teachers. That is because they don't have the same background that us foreigners, or at least from big cities and so forth. all the way of explaining and their understanding and explaining comes sort of more organic, like whatever is in the scriptures is more organic, like this is the meaning. So this is the meaning, and here you have to check the meaning, not with all the fantasies and the background that you have. When we foreigners, we speak, we bring lots of background, lots of, oh, but what if? No, so all of this background is very, very, how to say, harmful in order to understand things. All of our namtoks in Tibetan, all of these fantasies and ruminating thoughts are pretty much, how to say, they bring us far from the proper meaning. And the Tibetans are really like, it's like that, it's here, it's like that, and so forth. And then we start, like, when we become angry or frustrated, we cry, why you're like that? I was just speaking like that. Like, very, like very organic. It's like that. It was like that, and it's true, right? And then you also learn, how these emotions and so forth really disturb our mind, and also the understanding. So, for example, I have, because of the continuity of these studies, because even lots of difficulties, challenges, and frustrations along these 10 years in the nunnery, and I didn't give up. And then I can compare myself with others also that were here 15, 20, 30 years, all of them great people, many really good in understanding, but also many still thinking why, understanding in a completely different way some very simple concepts, and or even worse, like this is Buddhist philosophy, or these are the studies, and this is my life. There are two different things. This is a huge mistake, because these studies is for our own transformation in order to live better this very lifetime. Forget about future life. So in order to us to live in a more smooth, with less arrogance, less anger, less competition, how to say, comparison, and much more approachable way, wise way, more loving and caring way. So this is for the benefit of this very life. That's why we are studying here. It's not in order to become, no, I am a good scholar, I study whatever. That's not the case. If it's the case, and then, okay, I be still as a human resource manager before, very arrogant and so forth, and I be happy. It was also not the case. We can understand from our own experience that it's not the case. And so for this reason, like, if we really are a good practitioner, meaning that we can be less bad in anything that we are bad, like in less arrogant, less angry, and so forth, a more understanding person, so forth. And so that's why, like, to study here with less background of our fantasies is more important. So these are the benefits that I really felt studying this within these 10 years in the nunnery, right? And also I can assert, for example, studying the 4 introductory disciplines in the beginning, the 4 first years, and then now the parching, the Prajnaparamita, and in the future after 2 years, so Uma, so the 11th, 12th, and 13th year is going to be Madhyamika. And then after Abhidharma, Kosha, and so forth, like, if I really manage to finish this, so then I finish all of these classes, right? I'll be able not to, I can start the 4 years, 4 years of exams for Geshe, right? And if I manage to finish this Geshe degree, I mean, it's not for the degree. Like, I have already degree. Most of us, we have already degree. That's not the point. It's not for the degree. But do you know what means, like, 17 or 20 years of exposition of these original texts that really transform the mind in order to be a better person, a happier person, a more understanding and helpful person, in order to benefit also others. So that's our point. Otherwise, it's okay to be as before. And so also to live with all the challenges and to be patient with our own difficulties, it's very important, right? But also to set your own borders. I think it's important to set one's own border, in not just to forget that you're a foreigner and you're Brazilian and so forth. No, but understand where you are, why you are doing that, what is the aim. So I really wish to become less angry person, less arrogant person in the future, because it's very difficult still. Things are very strong here yet, but at least a glimpse of a very smooth transformation. I have a little bit of hope in the future. Now no. In the future, and then I really can be a little bit of benefit sometimes, someday in the future. Of course, people sometimes they ask, please teach something here, you know more than us and so forth. I don't accept this. Why not? It's still, even though I still study just for 10 years in the nunnery, 11 years here, but it still is so little. Yeah, like in order to speak about the transformation of mind, if you don't transform a little bit something here, how can you really benefit others? And many people, they do teach a little bit with less studies, but I think, I don't know, I think it's going to be better if I can wait a little bit and be a little bit more stable, right? Understand a little bit better this transformation path. And it's not just like understanding in theory. Yes, I read, of course, we are all humans. We have this human brain and human intellect, and so you can understand. It's okay, you can understand things. In Tibetan, it's a little bit more difficult, but you can have a glimpse of this. But if you understand, for example, understand of impermanence, everything's impermanence and so forth. So why we attach so much to things to be permanent? Why we attach so much when we lose our friend, our partner, friend, job, parents, and so forth? Why we grieve, not grieve, how to say? We grieve so much. Why you become so angry? Why say, but why with me? Why with me? Because we don't understand that actually everything changed out of causes and conditions. Causes and conditions came together and then brought the change. But everyone, again about impermanence. This is so boring. Again about impermanence, already studied. But if you already studied and then we suffer so much, and then someone said, you are not a good person, and then criticize ourselves. Why we become so angry? Because we have to defend that name, that image, that self. So, but yes, we are studying about emptiness. Yes, now I need some tantric practice, some Vajrayana practice, and so on. But we don't have the proper basis. So it's not just intellect. We have to think again and again in the more obvious things in order to internalize here. Because if you don't internalize here is not going to be transformed. And if you don't transform here, all of this is not going to be of use. Because this Buddha just said, it's just for our own transformation to be happier, not for any degree. So that's why, so studying the Geshe, the Geshe degree, Geshe, yes, because the name, we like names, but it's just like, these philosophy texts, the transformation texts, that's the only thing, right? And even though if we are foreigners, like we have this beautiful opportunity to still live, to study these texts in a live way, thanks to India and thanks to the Tibetan tradition, because came from here that everything started. When they also defend or they collect these texts, because here was the generation time, and then now that in Tibetan also is the generative time, and so came back to India. And so the Indians also, they received so kindly the Tibetans and very kindly us foreigners. So we have this opportunity to study here. And so everything come together in order to really be able to study and so forth. And so since all of us, we want the same. Everyone is struggling day by day, since morning until nighttime, going to the office, to the school, to the studies, to just taking care of parents and so forth, in order for what? to be happy and avoid any kind of unpleasant sensations. So if it's that the case really, if it's really the aim to be happy really, so we have to really fire the right fire. We have really to put the proper wood in the proper fire. If we are always watering the plant of just weeds and bad flowers, and so our garden is going to be not that nice with flowers, with bad flowers, right? So we really have to choose whatever garden we have to pour water, right? And so that's the case. And so it's difficult because things are difficult just because here is too strong. The habit is very bad, right? And so in order to transform here, we have to be more, we have to put effort, but never forget the proper aim wherever we want to reach. This has to be all the time. All the time that I forget this, I suffer. I'm so angry. Why they are doing like that with me? They are very bad kids. They are looking me down. Oh, these are my very big drama. They are looking me down. I feel myself the worst stupid in the world all the time. And then I say, oh, and then I forget. No, it's okay. Like I also have my good qualities. I have my effort and so forth. And so all the time that I have not nice environment, but it's from my own perception. Maybe nobody's even has this. Nobody wishes to harm me, but we fantasize that thing. We create that sinner that everyone is criticizing or is so difficult and so forth. So if I really want to change myself, and so in that moment of the drama, I have to be very aware of, oh, now it's just a drama again. It's not like that. And so I focus again in the scriptures. I focus again in my vows, right? In the advice of my teachers. And so in my Geshe, my personal tutor inside the nunnery, which is so amazingly kind of giving me so many good advices. Also my personal teacher, Geshe Gelsen, who also gives me so much advices, and all the Geshes, all the teachers in the nunnery sometimes can be very tough. But why tough? Because here I don't want to transform, and when I just want to transform, things goes more in a more smooth way. And so it's like that. And so that's what all the time. If I really when I have this aim of what I want to achieve to transform that bad sceneries in my mind and to cultivate the better and the best minds and so forth. This is what I want to be. Why? In order to be a more reliable person to others in the future. That's all the time. If I don't forget, my day is better. If I forget this, then my drama come again. And so it's like that. And so it's like that. Just this. That's what I wanted to say. Very simple. Any questions?
There are two questions online, but maybe I'll give everyone the opportunity to unmute themselves online so they can ask the questions directly. Then maybe you want to turn on your cameras also if you want to ask a question. And meanwhile, anybody here would like to ask something to Venerable? Yeah. Can you just take this microphone so people online can hear you as well? Thank you. Most people are online.
Okay. I'm curious if you've been back to Sao Paulo over the last 10 years and what that has felt like when you have, what's that felt like if you have gone, or like even if you haven't gone, when you have had the opportunity to interact with people from home or from Brazil, like there might be. Oh, okay, wonderful. Oh, wonderful. So that you can answer that. I'm just curious. I was a little late, but I'm just curious what it feels like, because I imagine sometimes people have a lot of expectations or a lot of different ways of approaching that conversation. So if you already answered it, you don't have to, but I'm just curious.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I just arrived from Brazil a few hours ago.
Oh, wow.
And then, so yes, actually, it's a very good point, because I can tell you that in the beginning, even like before becoming Anila and but already studying this course, in the beginning when I before even coming back home, when I was here, the arrogant mind, it was pretty much present in the sense of, you see, now I found something that really could explain things, or the right view. Or now the Buddhist view is the proper view, or this Buddhist psychological approach, that's the correct things. So you know, this whatever I already learned, or whatever I already lived in Brazil, in my mind was, how could I do it? Or how can they still do it? That very, you know, like presumption mind, it was pretty much present. And then, or I still like, but if I go back, then they don't know how to speak about these very good and fancy and correct ideas and so forth. This is all is an absurd in the sense of, it's a very arrogant point of view. And in the beginning, I had this really came like, nobody would talk to me in Buddhist word, blah, 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 like this. Very bad, absolutely. And then, but the thanks that before I went back to Brazil the first time, this was already more quiet. And then why? Because actually I am just here out of all of this experience in my life, all the corporate life, all the studies, the engineer studies, and then the corporate life, and then all the spiritual group that I was a part, and even we just met now again. And then all my work colleagues, my classmates from university, from school, family, everyone I meet every time that I go to Brazil. Always, because they are part of my life, and they, just like me, are also looking for a better life and trying as best as they can, as myself, to avoid any kind of suffering. And just like as myself, maybe they're also like just putting water in the wrong vases, and they wish flowers from different vases, just like myself. And so we are all the same. And so it doesn't matter what they know or they don't know, what I know, what I don't know. And so we are everything exactly the same. So when I just realized this and said, sorry them, and I didn't even talk to them before, but just by creating this very wrong view. So I immediately I was very ashamed of my arrogant point of view. And then, of course, when we meet, and so if people want to listen whatever I studied here, and I share, and whatever they are not interested in is pretty much fine. I also share with them whatever they are doing. And so, because actually we have to remember whatever we share of common. What is the base of our friendship or our family or loving and so forth, is the wish to be the other happy in whatever they are doing. And they wish to see me happy in whatever I decided to live. So this has to be respected. So from this point of view, we have an amazing relationship. Yes.
Solange, would you like to ask your questions? You can just unmute yourself.
Hello. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, even more for me, because I'm a privileged person here. My question is, this is something that I wrote a little while ago. What is your biggest challenge as a foreign nun? You shared a lot, so I don't want you to repeat all that you shared. I think I got it very well, but it's just in your routine, like, are there days where you're like struggling, you find it very difficult, and like, taken outside your comfort zone as a foreign nun? And the other question that I have is, are you still, well, this I know, but this is, for you to share with everyone, are you still attached to something, and what it is, and what do you do in terms of practice to improve that? And I think I have another question, but I forgot it. I have so many questions, that I have like my list. I don't remember what it's. No, yeah. Do you have days where you regret it? You regret like
of becoming Anila, of becoming nun.
Yeah, I know now,
Thank you
but
so.
just yeah, because it's too you find it hard. You know, we all have bad days, right? So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, I think the most difficult thing has been Anila, nun, foreigner nun in the Tibetan nunnery. I think it's more the cultural part than being foreigner nun and so forth. I think it's the foreigner part. I think is the most difficult, which is not impossible. Just among all of the activities is to have your own. I have my 45 years experience in another society, in another way of thinking and so forth. And so when I changed this environment, of course, like it's not that everything is going to be understood. Even like the way that I speak, oh, this is very bad. The way that I speak is not well understood, or for example, the things that why I speak, with which background I speak, with which difficulty or facility that I speak. This, if it's different than of their understanding, it's going to be understood completely in a wrong way. Or if they speak something that I don't have the background, I also don't understand. And then my understanding, my non-understanding can turn in a very big misunderstanding in a situation. For example, not respectful way in both sides. Oh, you don't respect, or they don't understand, they don't feel respected by me, myself. In this, I think is more cultural way and more cultural challenges. But that's a reason that living inside is so beneficial. So beneficial, because in the beginning, until you understand them and they understand yourself, has lots of, how to say, rumors, lots of difficulties. But then you understand why they are saying this, why they are not saying like that, why they drink like this and don't drink like that, why I drink like this, why I say like this, and so forth. And then you understand until what is the limit of the need of you posit yourself like that. And then you understand that actually you don't need to posit yourself at all. It's fine. And sometimes if they ask, you posit yourself, and it's fine. So I think it's more a cultural thing. But this is not being like because you're Anila or not, you're nun or not. You're just a foreigner in a Tibetan society. Likewise, if they are here, living here, also they have all the difficulties. You likewise, like you, right? And so you as a French, so living in a Brazilian community, in a Spanish community, in an Indian community, so we have these difficulties. It's just that. But then understanding also, being a little bit patient. Sometimes some difficulties here and there. It's fine. It's really fine. No problem. Just, oh yes, now I just couldn't posit myself. It's okay. But this is for me, is still the biggest challenge. Okay, but it's not awful. No. It's just one challenge. It's okay. The second thing, to be attached. Oh, so much attachment, and this analyze the same still. I really have lots of attachment, but I think that the biggest maybe is the reason that I'm here in this suffering existence is in my own name, image, and so forth. And so that's why I feel so easily offended, or I need so much to prove myself all the time. This is attachment to my own image, to my own name, and so forth. And so we study a lot all the time, and we live in a community that try to calm down this. All of us, we have this very, very strong attachment to this wrong self. But until you really recollect again and again and again, you'll not be able to cool down a little bit this wrong idea of the non-existent self, right? And in practical ways, this, like, why I become offended, why I become sad here and there, and so forth, or very emotional in some situations, is because of this. And so, of course, become better, much better than before, yes, but it's still very strong. And the third one, if I regret, not at all. I never felt so much free since 5 years ago, when I took when I started this Anila life. First as a renounced person, and then after when I got ordination from His Holiness. But since the first time that when I Geshe shaved my hair and then gave me the robes, and since there I was ready since the beginning. But like at least 6 years, like thinking and checking all my doubts and maybe be with partner and being practitioner together, why not? And then I checked this first. I checked all my doubts first, and then I asked for ordination, and then finally my teacher said no. And then you have to really check for more 2 years. And then I checked, and I saw how it would be after I go back to Brazil in the Western society as a nun and so forth. So I had this opportunity to check and to think and to see things in family and so forth. And so good. And becoming Anila, why I become so free? Because out of the kindness of these vows that I can be a little bit more protect against my own bad habits as to attachment to some things and angry and jealousy and so forth, because it's not nice to be a non-attached nun, angry nun and so forth, right? And so at least with these vows, you become a little bit less. So this is a huge protection of this chain of our own afflictions, okay? And you asked, sorry, about your second question about difficulty as foreigner nun. Also, I have one difficulty as, the approach with a Western society. As Western person, the approach with Western society is a little bit different as Tibetan society, even Tibetan nun. So, and I am a Western nun, a Western Tibetan nun. So sometimes this, yes, I am a Western nun, and I wish to have the relationship with Western society. I wish this, not just Western, but with the society in general. But sometimes it's more convenient to be have less relationships, like in daily routine and so forth. But I want to help, and then I need to be here, and I want to be there. So sometimes sometimes is a challenge, but I think it can be beneficial. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Yes, Julieta.
I have a question. My question is two sides. One is about the meditation. When you go there to study the philosophy, how much time do you meditate? And then on relationship, if you study so much more, how can it make the mind even more movement, and not when you're more calm, and then you avoid to put more information? So how do you think in the studies, why to learn more and meditation to not calm the mind? Do you understand?
Yes.
The more you go to retreat, it gets the mind tired because it's a repetition, and the mind that is calm, then comes too much information, then comes in contradiction, many contradictions.
If we know how to think, then you don't need to study anymore. It's okay. But since we still don't need how to think proper, and so to study the proper texts, to study the proper topic, whatever you have to study, has to be done yet. And then when you study the proper text, you study the proper topic, you're not just studying, like you're just reading random things. You're studying, you're reflecting, you're thinking about, you're debating on the things that will help you. It helps to transform your bad habits to right habits. It's like that. It's not just words, right? And so, and if you already have this internalized here and transformed, so it's true, you don't need to study anymore. But as long as you still have difficulties, anxiety, depression, agony, whatever in your daily routine, maybe your mind is still thinking the wrong way. So you're just trying to to reframe your mind, your thoughts, and so forth. And so that's why you have to study this. And the debate actually is an analytical meditation. You're so focused with so many correct reasons. You're checking if your reasons are correct or not. That's why it is the debate. And then the kindness of your partner, of your teachers, and so forth. They are checking if your reasons are correct or not. And so they are debating with you and so forth. And so these are an analytical meditation. And when you're memorizing, in the beginning, all of us foreigners say, memorization is just for Tibetans. It's not like, no, it's a huge mistake. It's just ignorant. It's just a lack of understanding of this. I also thought about that also before. And the memorization, like you have to be so focused in that sounds and that words, and then this can also turn to an how to say, shamatha or unifocal calm-minded meditation or concentration meditation. This also can be like that. And but we don't have in the nunnery. In the nunnery, we don't have one class of meditation. We don't have 1 hour, formal hour of meditation. We wake up at 5 a.m. 5:30 to 7, we are in the ritual, in the prayer rituals. And then 8 to 12, we are in classes. And then afternoon, we have the time of self-studies, memorization, preparation for debates. And then also we have 1 hour of, again, virtual prayers, the prayers. And then nighttime, we are debating. And after debate finished, from 9:30, 9:15 until 10:30, 11, we are memorizing again. We are doing our memorization. And then we go to the room of our personal tutors to present the memorization and to talk and to receive the guidance of as nun, as person, to debate or to debate on the studies and so forth. And then we come back in the room around 11:30, 12, when we sleep until next morning, 5 a.m. again. So it's like that. And so we are the whole time doing virtuous activities. And so if you want, you can meditate as soon as you wake up, before going to the prayers, and before sleep, or after lunch and so forth. You can do it. Or you can use whatever you're studying, activities that you're doing, as unifocal meditation of analytical meditation. Okay?
Have you experienced gender politics in all this life of yours here as a Western nun in the Tibetan monastery, nunnery? And how does the gender of your teachers affect you?
Gender politics, you said?
Gender politics, yeah.
Well,
the fact that all your teachers are men.
No.
Most of them are women?
Most, not all of them. Okay. My personal tutor, Geshe Geden Choeling, she's a female, so she's a Geshe. And so she's my personal tutor in the nunnery, and she's also one of our teachers at Geden Choeling Nunnery. So we have 3 Geshes and 1 Geshe teaching. All of us are nuns. And day by day, we have more Geshemas in the market. And so it's true. This is, well, since if we understand that as the whole planet, as the whole society started in a more male educational system, and then slowly turned to female, including female. This is in the West, in India, in Tibet, everything. So that's the reason that we have less female leaders, teachers, and so forth. And nowadays we have day by day more and more and more. And so it's like that. So we have more and more day by day. The way that I experience is as Western Brazilian and also arrogant women. Before, I didn't experience so much in the beginning this gender deterioration, but I didn't experience because of my arrogance, not because in Brazil we don't have this. We still have very strong, but I also, because of my very arrogant, I didn't. If I am woman, I can turn manager. Why you're complaining here. I didn't have this empathy against these, towards this difficulty, the female difficulties. But here I experienced very, very strong difficulties. Then I could see how this really, you know, the suppression of the female gender exists. And then I say, oh, so it's like that. So first of all, my slap here in my own face. And then I couldn't understand this. And so then I do experience this in the sense of, yeah, you know, but it's okay. You're girls. I explain to you. I experienced this, yes, a lot. And then in the beginning I said, but why he's saying this? Because he's a Geshe, he's a man, or he's a monk, or he's a man. Among laymen also, I listened a lot here. Before I never gave opportunity to listen this. And, but here when I listened to this, even before when I was a lay person, I've been approached by a Tibetan man in a very, how to say this, in a very bad way, in the sense, because you are women, you know, like it's written in the Buddhist scriptures that men and women are lower and so forth, because Buddha said like that. So I say, just wait. You don't understand what Buddha said in that moment. What was the context? He was speaking to monks how to not attach to women. That's why they said, look at the women like that and so forth. It's not that women are lower. It's not like that. So one thing is the cultural community ignorant understanding. Another thing is whatever in the scriptures are, or if you compare men and women. So this has to be very, very understood. And here I experienced this because of the culture. So still is a very male, how to say this?
Chauvinism. Male chauvinism.
Male chauvinism.
Patriarchal.
Patriarchal. Yes, it's true. And so out of the understanding of patriarchal way of understanding, they express like that. Just this. Whatever they say doesn't affect the way that I need to study, that I need to transform myself, that I need to develop. One thing. Second is, for example, I'm very lazy. So sometimes I don't study proper, or now it's 12 o'clock, I'm too tired and so forth. In the monasteries, they debate very strong until 1, 2, 3 a.m. And here I am as female, I'm too tired. So I also need to be stronger. And then, but in the nunneries, the education is weaker than if you go to IBD, because it's with all males and so forth. So I could go to the IBD, but as women group, we at 9 o'clock, we are all already, we are tired already. Let's be more, more soft. And then when winter comes, no, but why we should study or memorize in the debate hall or in the roof? No, because we become very, our body is weaker. And so we have to protect ourselves. We have to be in the room and sleep earlier and so forth. The men are, all of them, they're in this no debate until very late time. And so also we as group, we also need to understand what we want. If we want to be like slowly, so things will change slowly, and then we have to accept this. If we really want to change better, and then all of us women, we have to change together. If we want, all of us, we want to change together, but then the most of them, we want to be slowly, so we have to accept that we change slowly also. So it's more like that. It's more like contextualize things, contextualize things. But sometimes I listen some stupid things that it's okay. It's okay. I just ignore, and I just try to do my best. And whatever, all the time that I am lazy, I have to also to accept the bad result of being lazy. Like I don't transform myself. I don't understand proper because I was lazy and I didn't give so much attention or energy in that transformation or studies process. When I was very strong, when I am very strong, then I can collect good results. I can understand things. I can, in the work, I have good position and so forth. And so whatever, I think it's more like that. It's just contextualization than anything else.
How was your encounter with His Holiness when you got ordained?
It was amazing. It was amazing. Yes, what the most important things that I remember, it was like when he told us, not just me with him, but for me it was me and him, but it was a group, of course. Like, and then like when he said like from now on, like he put the white scarf in our shoulders before getting the vows, and then it says, so from now on, like this is a new path that you decide to follow. This is a new path, and so you're just how to say, trocando leme. You're just changing the direction of your boat. So until now, you lived as a lay person with all the lay inconvenience, difficulties, challenges, and so forth. Now you give yourself a chance or an opportunity to be less distracted to this and to focus in your transformation to benefit others. So that's why he gave us a new name, a new routine, a new image, and so forth. And then like that, and so if you really want to be happy, and so go for this, and this is an unmistaken direction. And it's like that. And this I remember, and it was for me, for all of us, but for me it was for me. And for her it was for her, and so it has to be like that. And so it was like this, and that eyes so full of love and wisdom and understanding to our own difficulties and so forth. So it was amazing like that. And then before, my Tibetan name was Losang Chudren, and then he gave me the name Tenzin Lamdron. Tenzin because of His Holiness, right? Tenzin Gyamsa, and then Lamdron to a new name. It's like that. So it was amazing.
Oh, Venerable, is it on? Yeah, I'm curious, about the relationship you also experienced with other monastics, Western monastics. So the question is, in that sense, actually threefold. First, more on a, let's say, a personal level, really how the relationship to other Western monastic monks and nuns and monks, influences maybe yourself, in terms of support, or maybe in other ways even. Then secondly, I don't know if this is even easily answerable, but just out of curiosity, did Geshe Kesang Wangmo play a strong role model, position or role for you personally? And then thirdly, there is all this Alliance for Non-Himalayan Nuns and the activities around, as well as, for example, Shravasti Abbey, the only existing abbey with a numerable, monastic nuns community in Tibetan Buddhism in the West. So, how you see these kind of, let's say, Western nuns approaches, who do exactly not go the way you are going in indulging or putting yourself totally in the Tibetan context. How do you view that? So it's from the personal to, let's say, more the general. Let my question, threefold question goes.
Well, I don't have any contact with any Western Buddhist groups, nuns or monks, in the sense of because I was not part of that group, and then I came to the Tibetan group. No. Well, I just decided to study Tibetan in Tibetan, the Tibetan scriptures, because it was more closer to the original. Since I can study Tibetan language, and so since I can live in India in the Tibetan community, and this is closer to the original texts and so forth. So I decided to stay here. Of course, my approach with Tibetan nuns as you and monks and so forth, for me, I don't know, normal in the sense of.
How does it frame or influence.
Ah.
Groups are one thing, but
Mhm.
even on an individual level, as you
Mhm.
said before, you know, you had a Mongolian and you have another Mexican, and you know, is there some bonding, you know, which is important for you, for example, or is this not of any particular influence? Or how is that?
I can confess without respect, that I don't know, I maybe didn't affect. No, I didn't realize. I didn't even think about that before. But yes, about talking about the German Geshe Mcleod. Also, she's, of course, I already attended her teachings before when I was layperson right in the beginning and so forth. It was amazing, good, great, and very wise, very kind, and like that. And also some of the nuns in Copan Monastery, and I remember clearly when I was talking to Venerable John from Copan. So I was really asking about being a foreigner nun in 2014 when I went to Nepal, and then I asked him, so how is to be a nun as a foreigner and so forth. And then she gave me all of her particular points and so forth, and also with Geshe Mcleod also. But it's like that. I think maybe when I talked to them, it was more like, oh, okay, it's not impossible. It was more in this sense, but always with huge respect and good, but not that, oh, because they can. I think I never put, oh, I cannot. I never even thought about not being able. This impossible thing is not. It's not present.
In your mindset.
No, because I mean, I want to be happy, and so in order to be happy, I need to change things. And then, what is the way? Oh, that way for me in that moment. So it's okay. Let's go for it. It's more like that. Then, but yes, but I know talking about the groups. Then I think it's important, like the Tibetan, no, the foreigner nuns and monks, also to be together. Mainly if they are in the West, I think it's important to be together. Otherwise, you are always like in the same pattern as before, and then to train yourself is difficult. If you wish to become a nun or monk as Western in the West, I think it's important to be at least in a more proper community. I think is important. Yes.
Do you think you are a hothouse plant?
Hothouse? What is that?
You know, for these very special, delicate plants, you need to be in a hothouse.
A greenhouse. Okay. If I am a greenhouse,
Do you think?
oh no, at all. No, I don't think. No.
Staying in a nunnery.
I stay in a nunnery. Yes. Yes.
Special kind of condition.
Yeah, yes. Being in a nunnery is really important, I think. Maybe we don't need to live forever, but in the beginning it's important. I think it's crucial. This really is crucial. I can even relate to some of my friends that they live outside. How is they approach with their daily routine? I don't even talk about daily practice, because daily practice is pretty much easy to carry on. But the daily routine, how you live your daily life, and how you really weak your defeats, your weak points, how you see the daily life in a different way. This is pretty much difficult to change if you carry on your daily life outside. This is a huge difference. It's true. And also when you're in a monastic community, you have all the difficulties, all the challenges and problems. And yes, we still have this body. And so you have to eat, you have to feed yourself, you have to work, you have to do things. And but I don't know, the way that the difficulty or the problems that you face in the routine is different if you're outside, and has to be different. And so if you are different but living outside as before, So your problems will not be different, but you are already different. And then this doesn't match anymore. So to be in a community is important, I think. And you have to. That's why, at least when you're in the process of transformation, it's important to be a little bit out. And I live in a community that is inside other community in a town, right? So sometimes also this doesn't match so much. And so to live a little bit away of that community is important, I think. At least in the Sunday when you're out, then you can meet again, you can drink your coffee and so forth. But to live a little bit protected, I think is pretty much important. You're just protecting yourself to your old bad habits. It's just like that. For example, we are not allowed to leave nighttime, right? And then in the beginning, but why not live out nighttime? Then actually, if you think about like why you live outside, why we go outside nighttime, to have dinner, you can have lunch, and then you can dinner, and then there's so much, so much bad things occurring nighttime, and then sometimes it's out of your desire that you go nighttime, out of your distracted mind you go outside, and then you are not giving yourself opportunity to be more introspected and reflecting better of your day, of your studies. Nighttime, you can sleep earlier and then wake up earlier the following day, and so you have lots of benefits, right? And so it's more like that. But also, like when you're talking about our problems and difficulties and arguing so much, the level of our discussions is different than what you're discussing outside. So it's important to be in a greenhouse.
And Joyaji, please ask your question. You can just unmute.
Thank you so much for this beautiful description of your journey into this way of life. Actually, you already answered many things in your answers to the previous questions. So I wanted to ask, seriously, do you really think it is impossible to follow this level of keeping your vows, doing the studies under a qualified teacher, and also helping your family sometimes when people need it, because they are also the sentient beings we are supposed to work for, So as a nun, there are many responsibilities, many do's and don'ts, like don't go out, don't stay out at night. But how would you ever do that? If you were a nun, how would you be able to actually look after your family people when they are in serious trouble?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Joy. When we talk about family, you are not in the daily routine with them, right? Because you are in the nunnery. You're in the nunnery because you decide to step back from the normal routine with normal discussions and arguing and problems, in order to give yourself time to study, to reflect, to transform yourself, to be more ready to help your family, your beloveds, your parents at the proper time. If you are always all the time with them, just going to the nunnery for classes, just as normal school, actually you're always in the routine of worries, in the routine of little problems here and there, problems of paying tax and so forth. And actually you're not helping your parents in that moment. You're just joining the problems together, or sometimes even increasing the problems of your parents, right? And if you're not ready, and so in order for you to be really ready, to be of help, to be of benefit, firstly to your parents, then you have to be ready. And in order to be ready, you have to be away a little bit. Doesn't mean that when they are in real need of you, you don't have to go there. That's not the case at all. Even for the Tibetans, when their parents, the mother, father, are in real need of care of nurturing and so forth, they ask for leave, and for 1 month they're with their parents. Even Tibetans, leave aside we foreigners that we are more free in this sense. So for example, my limit, even for Geshe, even to finish my Geshe course, are my parents. So if they are really in need of myself, I live here, I go back as nun. And but I go back to take care of my parents. Now I was just with them yesterday, and then they still are pretty much good in health, good. They are running here, blah, 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 blah. When I am with them, they want to take care of me. They don't allow me to take care because I am their kid and so forth. And so they are still okay. So in that moment, I am the right time to get ready. When they need me, I go back. And then you can ask, yes, but what about the daily activities or the daily routine? You can talk to them every weekend. You can, they can come and they can see, they can meet me here in the Nunnery or here in India or from Ladakh, from Tibet. They are not allowed to come anymore. But those from the Himalayas or from the West, the family can come. We can go on during holidays. We can come, and then they say, but you still have to be together all the time. Yes, we can stay. Then we don't study anymore. We can be as nun, and then we can stay with our family. If it's this the case, the first week is going to be very nice. The second week is not that problems start. The point is you are just part of the normal family. You go to you start working and being, you lose the monastic part. It's very difficult to protect your vows because you engage in arguments, in problems, in works, in gossips, in here and there and so forth, and then you forget to use your body, speech, and mind proper because you are again in the normal, non-attentional, conscious lifestyle. And so, to be in the nunnery is important in order for you to be more pure, more stable. And then when is the proper time, and then you go, because it's a very important point that you said. Many of us, we think that, mainly we foreigners, but because we have a very bad habit of, we come from our parents, and then after we are for the world, and then our parents don't understand ourselves, they don't respect ourselves, they don't understand us, they don't respect us, they have to support us. What about opposite? We never think about. We are here just out of their kindness. We are here we decide because of our karma. Our karma decide to put ourselves to be child of these parents. Our karma put ourselves as child of these parents. But who took care of us? It was them. We are nothing if it was not them. Nothing. We are a small piece of meat, as Geshe Gelsen always says. And I agree. Like, we would be died after one day if it was not because of them. And we will not be here without their care, their love, their warmth, their food, their orientation. We are not here, but we forget this. We slowly we grow up, and then we become very, very proud of ourselves, completely independent. And then, they have to take care of us. No, they have to understand us. They have to support us. These old people, this old view, this old mindset. Shame on us. And so we have, out of being able to really help them, we have to prepare ourselves. So that's one thing. And in order to become Anila, we have to have their approval. We have to have this. It's not allowed not to have their approval. So if the first thing is we have to impose our opinion, our opinion of becoming Anila, Buddhist, and then Anila and so forth, to them, they don't want, they cry, they really are sad against us and so forth. And because of out of all of this bad scenario we live, or we take vows, I mean, yes, we have to rethink about. Really, if really like praying all the time, like out of the happiness of all sentient beings and so forth, but a part of my parents, a part of this, because they are too old mindset and so forth. And so we are not practicing, not even monastic vows, we are not even practicing humanity. So first of all, we have to respect them and to understand them, because if I have kids, when I'm elder, imagine these kids like pointing myself on my faults because it's against their opinion. It's shame of them. So likewise, I don't have to do like them. So just to come back to your question. So we are Anila monks living in a monastic in order to not to get too much distracted in daily routine, in order to transform ourselves. Otherwise, we become distracted in daily chores, of mundane chores, and then we don't transform ourselves. But first of all is to increase the life or the happiness of our own family. And then if they are really in need, then we go, and then we are allowed to take care of our parents. Okay.
Maybe a last question from LH. LH, I don't know if you can unmute yourself and ask your question, otherwise I can read it for you, if you, whatever you prefer. LH, sorry, that's what it's showing. I don't know what's your name. It's showing LH.
Let's put one name. LH, Luis Henrique.
Maybe I'll read your question then. What was the question?
Oh, here there's also Sylvia also.
If you had to start over, would you learn Tibetan first before entering the study program? It was LH's question.
I did this because I cannot start the Geshe degree in a Tibetan monastery without Tibetan language. So I did this. The point is, after my 6th or 9th month of studying Tibetan language, I started the Geshe degree. And so my Tibetan was too weak. And also I'm very lazy student because I know a little bit, and then I already give up, like studying very. I started very hard in the first 5 months. And then I could communicate myself. Arrogance came, and then I just dropped Tibetan classes because I could already communicate. But then when I started studying in Tibetan community, because different when a Tibetan talk to us foreigner, they speak slowly and so forth. But when we are in their of course, in their family, in their routine, so they speak more too fast, and the debate is even faster than any Tibetan community. The Tibetans, the monks and nuns, we speak very, very fast. And so that's why it was too hard. But of course, you cannot start without Tibetan language. And but for example, I first studied this philosophy in English, of course. And then it's like that, it's good, and so forth. And then I decided to study Tibetan language because in order to deep myself, because just studying in English, I would never have the opportunity to talk to Geshe first, Geshe directly, to understand His Holiness the Lama directly. And so this makes a huge difference. And also to live together and to hang out together, and to live a routine together with the Tibetans also has a huge difference. That's why I decided to joke together and to fight together. It's very nice. Me and Geshe, we discuss a lot during the classes.
So Anila, after all these years of studies and practices, what advice could you give to us as lay people? So what could you say?
Well, if you want to really study Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist psychology, I don't say Buddhism, because Buddhism also has the religious part. You don't need to become Buddhist in order to study Buddhist philosophy and to study Buddhist psychology. You don't need this. And the most important thing, I think, is the Buddhist psychology and psychology and philosophy. And so because this brings benefit to all of us, independent on our religious faith, nationality, and so forth. So first of all, I think it's important for you to choose one class, one course, and go for it. Most of us, even my own experience was, we start one class, and then we don't become Buddha in the first month. And then what happens? Of course, this teacher is very bad. Of course, this school is very bad. The translation is even worse. The translation has no hope to be good, you know. And then we change. And then we go to a very fancy places because the big Lama, blah, 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 Lama or Rinpoche's teaching. So let's go for it. And then we go. And then we rely on the opinion of people. Because this Rinpoche is so amazing. This teacher is so amazing. But after 1 month, what do you know? You don't know anything. You don't have communication. And so what is important is for you, don't look at the name, at the title, and the name of the institution or the name of the teacher. But you have to look for, of course, there's amazing Rinpoches, Lamas, institutions, renowned institutions, of course. But don't look at this as your prerequisite. Like that. Don't look at this. Look at where the proper original texts is being taught. And then from beginning until the end of that course, you go for it. If you don't understand, if you don't like, go for it. Finish something that you start. Otherwise, you jump all the time, and then you don't have anything. Why I'm in the 10th year of this Geshe program? Because I decided to be patient, you know, even crying all the time in the first year. But you have to be patient and also give chance for you to understand better the teacher. Give chance for you to overcome the difficulties of the translation, of the teacher, of the book, and so forth. So give chance to yourself and be patient and be diligent. Whatever you start, you have to finish. Even though but now there's 1 month of retreat of, that nice thing, don't go. You stay in whatever class you decide to go. Because the continuity is crucial, okay? And not only that, do question and really start study and ask all the time, ask. Because just out of your questions, you know if your understanding are being proper. And don't ask just your classmates. Because people love to spend hours in the cafeteria with classmates and then don't ask anything during classes to the proper person. So do ask. It's important to share opinion. Of course, it's important, but also ask to the teacher. Don't do opposite also, just to the teacher and never speak to the partners and so forth because they don't know. This is arrogance. Also don't do both. And also understand that two things are the same. Whatever you're studying has to be for your own benefit within this very life. So in order for you to live a better life, and so you have to put whatever you're studying, whatever text, doesn't matter. Sometimes that this text is Four Noble Truths is too introductory for me. You don't know anything because you just realize directly the Four Noble Truths when in that moment you become an Arya being. So this is in a many billions life. So Four Noble Truths is the picture that you didn't understand anything. So anyway, and so you have to put in the practice, like in the practice in the sense of in your daily life, how really that the understanding of whatever you listened is being benefited. Like, are you a better person? Are you a more patient person, an understanding person, less arrogant person? If you're not, so you're not taking that and the teachings to the proper direction. Okay, I think it's like that, maybe. Mm-hmm.
So, Venerable, thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you.
Nicola has been very kind in inviting you today evening. So let's hope
my
that
classmate in
your
Köppen,
classmate?
Yeah, my classmate in Köppen Monastery in 2014.
Okay.
That's where we met.
Okay. So that's where you started debating.
Yes, I started in 2016 to debate.
Okay, okay. So we hope that in the future, you will take out some time for us and give us some regular teachings here too.
Wait. I don't know anything yet.
Mhm.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah, we are very grateful to you for accepting
Thank you.
to come here
Thank you.
and give us a very, very meaningful evening.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.